Hey guys, welcome back. So today is a fun video day. So Jason came by, Copper Custom, and I was actually working on the new website, which just launched. Hopefully it's up and running. The guys are up all night trying to get that thing going. And Jason came by and said, hey man, let's go shooting. I need to get out and get in a little bit of shooting. I need to relieve some stress. I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. But of course we bring a camera along to bring you guys along. Then the conversation turns to, well, let's go by a local gun shop and just surf their used gun counter and see what type of, really low budget guns they may have in stock, which is always fun to do. When him and I are on the road traveling around, we'll be on Google looking for gun shops in the area that we can just stop in and see what they have. You can find some pretty sweet items if you do that. Well, we found some not so sweet items. We decided while we're at the counter to buy 2 of the cheapest revolvers they had, and we're just going to see if they work. Now, Jason, I think, wins the cheap gun contest because he definitely got the cheapest 38 special revolver. Jason, show him that thing.
All right, yes. This here is an Arminus, little Titan Tiger, 38 special. Little snub nose. Bought it for 120 bucks.
Never even seen anything like that before. I'm not a big revolver guy, but I was like, yep, that's interesting. Sights are fixed, and I'm pretty sure that gun has a body count.
It probably does.
It probably shot somebody in an alley somewhere.
120 bucks.
120 bucks. So we're going to see if the thing, 1, fires, and 2, if it even blows up.
If I can hit anything with it.
If it can hit anything with it, and if the thing blows up. So I went a little bit higher. This is still, I think, probably the second cheapest gun they had.
Yeah, I would say so.
Except for some really rusted out, like old World War I guns. And this is a Model 66, or Model 10, I'm sorry, -6. And it's a little Smith & Wesson revolver. It probably looks like it's in pretty good condition. That's because it's been refinished. Somebody Cerakoted it, and it used to have rubber hose grips on it. When they got it into the gun shop, they took them off because they thought they were ugly, and they found these what looked like rosewood grips in their spare parts bin. They stuck them on the gun to make it look pretty, and I got it for a whopping $250. 38 special, Model 10-6. So it's a I love the Smiths that have the actual firing pin on the hammer still. They're politically incorrect, and it does not have the Clinton safety on it. So these are the 2 guns we picked up. This one's been Cerakoted. I have no idea what somebody may have done to the lock work. It feels like it has a factory trigger on it. Sometimes people will get in there and file and grind on things and try to do their own action jobs, and they'll absolutely destroy a gun. We have no idea if these guns are going to work. We're going to bring you guys along with us. We brought out a number of different loads, and what kind of, I'm going to tell you guys about this too. So what kind of started me on the whole revolver thing was I was recently out in South Dakota hunting prairie dogs. And prairie rattlers out there are thick as grass. And one of the guys that we were being guided by out there had a revolver on with shot shells in it. And I'm like, dang, why didn't I bring one of those? Well, because I didn't have a revolver to bring. So I bought this little guy for my next trip out, which is coming up here soon, which is a Smith & Wesson, a Ruger SP101 and 357 Magnum. We'll talk a little bit about this in the video as well. I just want to pattern the shot shells and see how they shoot out a little gun. Heck, I might wind up taking this one, but I had a contact concealment holster made for it, which I'll show you guys.
$120, you can take this one.
Or I can take the $120 blaster. So anyway, guys, this is just a fun video. We're going to see if these guns even work. We're going to see what type of accuracy you can get out of them and see if they even stay together. I'm especially worried about that one. What's it called again?
Arminus.
Arminus.
It's got like some kind of Greek god looking thing on the side of it, so it's bound to work.
It's got to be high quality.
Got to be.
Stick around, guys. This could get interesting.
Alrighty, so I got a challenge steel target down there, just a big square plate. I'm on a bridge over troubled waters, I don't know, maybe 40 yards, 35, 40 yards away. Got some Federal 38 special 130 grain full metal jacket. Let's load this $120 beast up here and see what we can do. Hopefully get keep all my fingers. All right, 6 rounds. Feels like it locked up. All right. Huh. So far not hitting anything. Let's see, a little lower here. Well. Oh, there we go. All right, maybe I can get it on there. Oh, no. I think that might have been 6. Yep. All right. Yeah, I pulled it open. I used my nice little fancy ejector there. All right, 1 out of 6. Outstanding.
Well, Jason's gun didn't blow up and kill him. Here the two guns are laying side by side. The Smith & Wesson actually looks pretty nice. But keep in mind, guys, it's been refinished. It looks like a Cerakote finish on it, so it looks brand new. I would imagine the gun before it was refinished was probably in pretty rough shape. This thing didn't kill Jason, although we don't know if the sights are on yet or not. We might have to move forward and put it on paper. So it's my turn to fire my Model 10 here. I'm going to use some Remington semi-wad cutters, and knowing Remington's reputation, having already blown up one of my guns, I think there's probably more of a risk of me being hurt by the ammunition than the gun. It's kind of a joke, sort of. Ugh. All right, here we go. I'm going to load 6 rounds into my little Model 10 here. These are lead bullets, semi-wad cutters, kind of a target load. It is safe to load. Whoops. 6 rounds. All right, I'm gonna shoot that same challenge target downrange, that big square one, and see if I can hit it with this little Smith. Nailed it. This thing's actually got a pretty nice little trigger on it. Somehow I missed that one. Huh, I could have swore. Yeah, I think the sights may be a little bit low. These are some pretty mild loads. You can see the primers are pretty rounded. They're not flattening out at all. So those are some pretty soft loads. Let's try it one more time. I'm trying to figure out where the sights are. Model 10 has the sights in the rear machined into the receiver here, and your front sights fixed too. So the sights are just, they are where they are. It's a close range fighting gun. Typically they'll be pretty close though. I'm kind of aiming at different points on the target to see where the sights might be. 50 yards is quite a distance for a revolver like this. All right, here we go. So, sticking a little bit. Yeah, it seems like the sights might be just hitting a little bit high, so I aimed low, and I got 6 for 6. That actually shoots pretty good. I wonder what the double action feels like. I'm not real good at double action on revolvers. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. For 250 bucks, I actually think I got a pretty good deal with this thing. Pretty nice little handgun. Let's see if I can get any hits on that steel with double action. Wow, man, 6 for 6. Now, I will say this grip sucks. Whoever designed this grip for this gun wasn't human if they thought this thing was comfortable. The gun wants to ride back in my hand. It just feels awkward. Maybe it's just because I have ape-sized hands. I probably should go get some Packmeyer grips for this thing. But hey, 6 for 6 on double action. Sticks just a little bit, not bad. I'm pretty happy with my $250 purchase. That's a nice little pistol. All right, guys, I'm going to try shooting a little Arminus. Now, I think what's happening, well, one of two things, the reason why Jason missed 4 out of 5 shots, or 6 shots, this thing holds 6 shots, might be because he's scared of the gun. I'm scared of the gun. So this is going to probably make you flinch, even if the sights are on, but we're going to find out here. To load this little guy, you pull this pin forward and then the cylinder swings out, so you don't have a button like on a Smith & Wesson. And you can see inside this thing, it's It's a pretty hefty frame. I won't say it's ZMAC, but it's lightweight, almost like an aluminum frame. That's probably why it's so beefy. The sights are definitely machined into the gun, so there's no adjustments, so it just kind of is what it is. All right. We messed with the timing on this gun. It's a little bit off in double action, but it shouldn't be bad. When you shoot a single action, it locks up nice and tight. All right, let's put some of these Remington loads in here and see if I can hit that steel plate at 50 yards or so. There's one. No, two. Oh, flinch. Yeah, I only missed one round out of that. So I think the gun is hitting just a little bit low. I aimed a little bit high on the plate. I only dropped one of the rounds, but it is making me flinch. I'm scared every time I pull the trigger, the gun's gonna blow up in my hands. All right, but hey, give the little gun credit. Now what's funny is when I look down the barrel of this thing, it doesn't even look like it has riflings. It looks like a smooth bore. Let's see what I can do with double action. This is where it's really gonna creep me out because I know it's out of time on double action. I'll show you guys what I mean by that here in a minute. All right. Ooh, don't blow up on me. That's a surprisingly weird double action. I think that's it. I think I missed 2 times. If there's such a thing as trigger slap on a revolver, this one has it. That is not a comfortable gun to shoot double action. It hurts your index finger there. But it didn't blow up in my face. Let me talk about that the timing issue. So several things when I'm buying a gun I check, especially with a revolver. Now I'm not a real big revolver guy, but I used to collect revolvers a long time ago. When I shot in an indoor range, I didn't want to pick up my brass. And I'll explain why in a little while, maybe, why I no longer consider revolvers to be viable self-defense tools. But when I'm checking the timing on a revolver, I'm going to go ahead and make sure the weapon's empty. So first thing I'm going to do is cock it, push forward on the hammer, make sure somebody hasn't done a homebrew hammer job on it. A lot of times people file on the sear surfaces, and they'll make it so bad that when you push forward on the hammer, it'll actually fire. That means you drop the gun while it's cocked, it'll fire, or if you push forward on it. So this one seems to be fine there. The next thing I'll do is cock it and make sure that it locks up. Now, when I cock it real slow, it doesn't quite go into lockup, it looks like. So I'm gonna cock it real slow. No, it's doing it. You hear it click at the last part. It's just barely out of time, but this is where I know it's out of time. So I'll check that. Then what I'll do is I'll either cock it or use the double action, but I'll apply pressure. I'm applying pressure trying to keep the cylinder from revolving. Okay, and when the hammer goes into complete lockup, that's actually locked up. Now I do double action, apply pressure to the cylinder, and look how I can rotate the cylinder backwards after it fired. You see that? So I'll do it again. So I'm applying just a little bit of pressure, not a whole bunch. Gun just fired, but look, I can rotate the cylinder back. So it's slightly out of time. So that's why I was nervous shooting at double action, because if it doesn't get locked up properly, the round might not be lined up with the barrel, and it can cause it to shave lead, or a best case scenario, or it can cause it to go way off out of battery, which would be kind of hard. It wouldn't be lined up with the primer, but if it goes off where the bullet smacks the side of the barrel, on a little aluminum frame gun like this, you could have a catastrophic failure. But shooting at single action seems to be safe. Double action's pretty good as long as it's not gunked up, but timing is out of whack. Smith & Wesson, I checked the timing on it. It's fine. Doesn't have any issues at all. Locks up nice and tight. Double action, fires, locks up. So this little guy's good to go. This one, yeah, not so much. but it shoots, and it's all Jason's. So while I was digging around in some old ammo I had sitting around, I found some of this Supervel. It's made for snub-nose revolvers, and this is a 90 grain plus P load. Yeah, 90 grain, 1,300 feet per second from a 1 7/8 inch Smith & Wesson J frame. That's what it says right there. All right, so first of all, I'm going to try some of this stuff out of my Model 10. Have no doubt it'll work just fine. I actually like this little Model 10. I think the Yankee Marshal is going to be all over my channel now. Now that I'm starting to showcase revolvers. I'll never carry a Chippewa, whatever the hell that goofy ass thing is that he carries. That thing's awful. All right. So we got 6 rounds loaded up of the Supervel 38 Special Plus P. Let's see how hot this stuff is. It's kind of overcast today. We may be able to see a muzzle flash. Hit the target. I'd say it doesn't really recoil that bad. Looks like from where I'm at, I see a slight muzzle flash. Definitely got a little bit more punch to it. Definitely got some punch to it. It kind of sticks a little bit. I don't know if that's a Cerakote job or what. Huh. All right.
I don't know, man.
I told Jason he had to shoot this stuff out of this thing. He's like, no way. So that leaves it up to me.
I don't know. Is it even rated for it? I'll probably look that up.
Oh boy. So if you guys are telling stories a few years from now, how did Mac die? Well, he went out with a bang with a Artemis $120 pocket pistol.
Well, it says snub nose on the box, and that's the very definition.
Let's see if I can hit that steel target.
Might want to look away.
Nah, I got glasses on.
Save the face.
And I even hit the steel target.
Oh, that's what it needed.
Those are stout. 3 for 3. 4. 5. 6. Dude, that'll rock your world. This little guy is not the most comfortable grip, but it just took 6 rounds of plus P rated 38 special. That was probably dumb, but it was fun. So what started me on this whole revolver kick was the fact I needed a revolver to go back out to South Dakota so I could load it up with some shot shells to protect myself from the prairie rattlers. And so that's why I picked up this SP101. The holster that it's in, which is the same holster I'm going to take with me out to South Dakota here soon. This holster was made by Contact Concealment, and I had to make it just for this SP101. Now, they don't list these on their website, but if you call them up because you saw it in this video and you said, hey, I want one of those SP101 rigs you made for Mac, Bruce over there will make you one. He has the mold for it, surprisingly. So I went with the 3-inch version of the SP101. Why did I go with the Ruger? Some of you guys on Instagram already asked me that question. The reason I went with the Ruger is because, one, I had an SP101 way back in the day in the 80s when they were only available in 38 special. And we loaded that thing so hot with hand loads, like we were literally cramming bullets in on a full case of powder. We were trying to blow the gun up. Yes, I've been doing this my entire life, and it's a miracle I haven't lost a digit or killed myself yet. But we knew back then that the SP101 was perfectly capable of taking 357 Magnum shells, so we wondered why Ruger didn't offer it as a 357 Magnum. Well, they soon did offer it as a 357 Magnum later. So I just have history with this gun. The original was a 2-point-something odd-inch barrel. I like the 3-inch barrel. I think it balances the gun out. This is its first session. I've just wiped it down, and I'm going to test it out, and then we're going to do a little bit of shooting here with it with the shot shells I plan on carrying to protect myself from snakes. I just kind of want to see how this gun patterns before I go into the wilderness with it. So here go the first 5 rounds. Unlike the other 2 guns we're shooting here this afternoon, this one only holds 5. It's a nice small little revolver, and they are built like tanks. I've come to trust the Ruger revolvers because I know from what I did to my Ruger revolver way back in the day, and yes, I used to buy revolvers quite often back then, that this is probably one of the hardest guns to kill. So I trust that this thing will get me through. All right, let's try that steel target. Again, this one's got fixed sights on it. The rear sight's machined into the receiver. Yep. So I was thinking I had 6. It's 5. So everything seems to work just fine on this bad boy. Let's give the double action a shot. That was with some of the Remington ammo. Let's see how well I do with the double action, because if I have to go after a snake, it's a good chance I'll be using the double action. Now, what I found with the double action on this small little pistol is I have to pull the trigger back so far that it's a little bit unnatural, and I notice the gun moves even when I'm dry firing it when it finally goes click or would go bang. So I'm not so sure I can do well double action with this Ruger, and I was debating between buying this little guy for its small size, the fact I can stick it in a glove box easily or stick it in a pocket, or a GP100. And I was playing with the GP100 up at the gun shop where we picked up these 2 low-budget guns, and I was kind of thinking, man, I wish I would have just went and got the GP100. So let's see how well this thing does for me in double action. All right, dropped 1 out of the 5, so 4 out of 5 is not bad. There are spring kits available for this, and I may actually try to do my own gunsmithing job on this one. I've seen some pretty cool YouTube videos. I can pick up some springs for it, lighten the hammer pull or the hammer spring a little bit. I know what surfaces to polish, and I may do an action job on this little guy and wind up just keeping it in the Jeep as a little backup gun. Guys, it's going crazy, right? The Military Arms channel talking about revolvers. What's going on, man? It should be raining cats and dogs right now. Let's load up some of these shot shells and see what they do out of these guns. So here are the shot loads that I plan on taking with me to South Dakota in my SP101. Now these are CCI. These are manufactured by them. It says 38 Special 357 Magnum. I'm not sure what the overall length is, so we have those other 2 38 Special guns. We'll see if they drop into the chambers or not. But I'm going to fire these out of my SP101, which definitely is a 357 Magnum. So this has the number 9 shot. I've seen them with the number 4. As a matter of fact, when I was in South Dakota the last time, the guide that we were with had number 9 shot, and it was almost worthless. He had to fire several times because the shot pattern was so dispersed, and there's so few shot pellets in it when you have such a large shot, that number 4 shot, that that he really said, darn it, I forgot to bring my number 9. So this is a 9 pellet, very fine pellet, very small. And keep in mind, guys, this isn't intended for self-defense against big two-legged predators. This is more or less something that you're going to want to use, and I almost stabbed myself there. You're going to want to use against something like snake. It's not very powerful. By the time that shot gets to where it's going, it's almost, you know, got no energy at all. But at point-blank range, like a snake near your feet, it should do the trick. All right, so let's take out 4 of those just to keep things even. I'm OCD about that, right? You already know that. Take out the SP101. Let's see. Okay, cylinder turns counterclockwise. So I'm going to go ahead and drop these into the chamber. And you can tell that these little guys just have a plastic cup full of birdshot in them. All right, and these are definitely intended for dispatching small critters like snakes. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and load it up. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to try to center it so that the empty chamber is under the hammer. So now when I pull the trigger, that one empty chamber just starts going around. I should have 4 consecutive shots. So let's walk this off. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're about 4 yards away. That's about the max effective range. Okay, I'm not going to be shooting at snakes across the prairie with this thing. I'm going to aim at the A. I'm going to fire double action. Let's just see what this shot does. Wow. All right, I'm going to go ahead and holster the weapon. Look at this, guys. So at 4 yards, aiming here, you can see where the shot cup, the plastic wad hit. But look at that dispersion. This is an IPSC target. I would say probably 70%, 60-70% landed in the A zone, and we had it come on out to the C over here and to the D over here. So that's pretty good shot dispersion. If there was a snake where I was aiming, I probably would have hit him with 6 to 10 shots. Now let's see what happens when I do a cylinder dump on Mr. Snake from the same distance. Only got 3 shots left. All right. I would say if there was a snake nearby, he would have to do some hooking and jabbing to get away from that shot pattern. So I feel pretty good about carrying these for snake protection out in South Dakota. And there you guys have it. That's what the CCIs will do out of a 3-inch barrel at about 4 yards, 5 yards. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm kind of curious where all three of these revolvers are hitting with relationship to the sights and the target. So now I have some Federal range ammunition. It's called Range Target Practice, or RTP. 130 grain, full metal jacket, 38 special. And I have 6 of those loaded into my little Smith & Wesson Model 10 here. I'm just going to aim at the A on the head and just see how close the sights are to being on, for me anyway. That's one hole, dude. I am falling in love with a revolver. You guys may be seeing a change here at the Military Arms channel. What? I don't even find this gun to be ergonomic. And look at this. That's 6 shots. Walking off 7 yards. That's insanity. So we've been shooting these guns out here this afternoon. I don't know, we put 4 or 5 boxes of ammo through them. And so I noticed something, and this happened to me many years ago, which is why I got away from revolvers. Despite the fact I just shot the A out of the A zone target, guys, this gun is seized up. I cannot get the cylinder to release. It looks like it's either hung up here or hung up back here in the rear, but I cannot, no matter how hard I try, get that cylinder to release. So now I got to take it back. I think I may be done shooting this gun for this afternoon until I can get it back, take the grips off, take the side plate off, and figure out what went wrong. Years ago, when I shot revolvers twice before, I had something similar happen where some brass shavings or whatever worked its way back into the lockwork, seized the gun up, and I couldn't shoot it. You just watched it happen here, and this is why I don't carry revolvers as a defensive carry choice. This gun right now is absolutely, completely worthless. It will kill me in a fight. I can't reload it. So, something to think about. All right, guys, so the Model 10 went down pretty hard. We simply couldn't reload it. And so we sat down to try to figure out what the problem was. I have a lot of tools in the Jeep. So we gently massaged the cylinder open with a rubber mallet. And we discovered, you'll notice some tool marks here on the ejector rod. All right, so we could see on these Smith & Wessons, they lock up in 2 places, which is a good thing. They lock up in the rear here of the cylinder, and they lock up here on the top of the ejector rod. And then you have a little detent and spring-loaded thing right here. So when you push your button to open the revolver, it's releasing it from the back, it's pushing forward and releasing the detent on the front. What was happening is the back was releasing, but it wasn't releasing from the front detent. I could not, no matter how hard I tried, get that cylinder open. I finally had to tap it open with a rubber mallet, and then we had to sit down and figure what went wrong. These ejector rods on these screw into place. Notice this is, I'm turning nothing, I'm unscrewing it. Okay, I'm turning it right and it's loosening it. It's a counterclockwise thread. What had happened just through use is this had started to unscrew itself. And there it's completely locked down. It's knurled on the top so you can kind of try to keep it tight. But during use this afternoon, this was slightly unscrewing itself. It got to the point where it locked the gun up. Now, the only way to get the gun back into the fight would be to have a rubber mallet or something to beat it against, to tighten your ejector rod, go ahead and load your revolver back up and keep going. Again, I'm just not a fan of revolvers for self-defense. And yeah, there's one example why. We actually got the gun fixed now though, so now we can still open it. All we had to do was beat it open, tighten this up, and the gun's back to working. The thing is, I'm probably going to have to put a little bit of Loctite, blue Loctite in there to keep it from backing off so the gun doesn't seize up again in the future. Keep that in mind if you carry a Smith & Wesson revolver. Now I'm going to try my hand with my Smith & Wesson Model 10 now that we got it working with the same 130 grain full metal jacket rounds from Federal. And I'm going to show you guys just how fast I can do this. Old Jerry Mitchell's going to be jealous. I'm coming for you, Jerry. See that? You can't touch this. Dom, 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 dom. Dom, dom. Dom, dom. If you need more than 5 rounds, you don't know how to use a gun, son.
Who the heck said that?
Joaquin Jackson. All right. What's the drill here, man? What's the drill? Give it to us. Break it down for us. Come on, man.
I don't know. I'm just going to walk up and shoot this thing.
And that is how this thing's probably going to get used.
That's how this, well, it could have been used that way already. I mean, we kind of already determined it may have a body count. So we just found its natural habitat right here.
Yep, I'd say that did it.
That's all in the A zone. Should do some tournament shooting with this thing.
You better start carrying that thing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys, so I have 5 rounds loaded of the federal target stuff into my SP101, and I have a speed loader. I have never in my entire life used a speed loader. I haven't even practiced it yet. So let's see what happens when Mac, the non-revolver guy, tries to speed load his revolver. This ain't going fast. Yeah, I'll stick to autos. Where'd my speed loader go? All right, guys, I have to say, for my 250 bucks, once I got the kinks worked out of my revolver, I'm happy with my purchase. Jason, how about you?
You know, all day I've been joking about this $120 pistol. I have to say, I'm rather impressed with this $120 pistol. It just goes to show that you can literally have a lot of fun with a little over 100 bucks.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this thing at the gun store, I would have passed it by completely, never given it a second chance. Jason looked at it, saw the price tag, and said, what the heck, I'm buying it. And then I said, well, what the heck, I'll buy some piece of junk too. This probably was a pretty rough looking gun at one point, has been refinished, doesn't have its original grips, whatever. But yeah, it failed me, figured out what the problem was. I was reminded in this video just how much fun I have with revolvers, but also why I don't carry them for self-defense. But, and you're gonna say, well, Mac, you're taking the SP101 for self-defense. Yeah, I've tested it, it's working. I'll make sure it's good to go before I go into the field with it. But yeah, my 250 bucks was well spent. His $120 was definitely well spent. Even with the machined sights to the gun, I mean, they're non-adjustable. The thing shoots to point of aim.
It did pretty well. I mean, we were doing some really funny stuff with this stuff. I mean, even off camera, just shooting at steel targets long ways off and scoring hits, which was rather impressive.
We should have had the camera rolling. We were just screwing around shooting frogs, and from great distance we were shooting the Texas Star and managing to score some hits with them. It's just been a fun day with these revolvers, guys. So you don't typically see them here on the channel. I get a lot of requests for revolvers, so here you guys go. Here's your revolver video. You may see more here in the future, because if I can pick up guns like this for 200 bucks, I'm going to be buying more revolvers.
A budget revolver video, everything.
And a budget revolver video. I mean, this thing looks so funny. I was convinced it was made of Z-Mac at first. I don't think that's the case. I think it's actually made out of aluminum.
Yeah.
Very lightweight, very chunky, but the darn thing just works.
It did. It did. I mean, the timing's a little bit off, but it worked 100% all day today.
And we had an absolute blast, pun intended. Guys, please join the NRA. Get in the fight. New administration at the NRA, new administration in the White House. Some of the money that I receive from you clicking that link down below when you renew your membership or become a new member, you're getting in the fight, plus that money that comes to me, 100% of it goes to Hero Hunt, which is a nonprofit that helps wounded warriors and first responders get out in the field, get hunting, and gets them back on track. And also, if you'd like to support us here at the Military Arms Channel, swing by and consider becoming a patron. And you can do that by following the link in the description below. We give you a whole bunch of great deals on products, and there's original content there that you guys will find entertaining, I hope. And you can also swing by and check out Copper Custom, which is our online store. We launched a new website last night. The guys were up all night long, so hopefully it's up and working by now. But we have a brand new website, and you know, I'm biased, but I think it's the best darn website in the industry. Go by, check it out, coppercustom.com. And also check out full30.com, full30.com. We've taken all the web's best firearms content creators, including those guys that like revolvers, and brought them under one roof, and that is full30.com. Jason, mag dump, or should we say cylinder dump?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
We normally do.
That goes by way too fast.
It does.
No, they don't take Glock mags, and I didn't try hip firing it. Stay safe, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.